relationship excellence and social awareness and a feeling of quantum oneness for making responsible decisions. We started with that. Then we went on to understanding emotions. Some very, very troubling emotions. We did that. Then we went on to understanding the different layers of the mind. Right? Last time what we did was that Anita did breath work. You passed on the video of breath work to everyone, yeah, so you have all that. So Anita did breath work and I touched upon meditation. If we have time today, I'd like to do a meditation, otherwise no. And now we're doing the last part, which is personal growth through community. All this is just working on oneself. But very often you get to see that people become very, very self-centered in a negative way. I'm just concerned about my growth, my spirituality, my this, my that. It's one consciousness. So you just can't talk in terms of your own self and nobody else. So personal growth majorly takes place through community. You will know and understand what I'm saying, that the most severe punishment that you can give anyone is the punishment of solitary confinement. Yes? You would think, oh, it's going to be so nice and I'm just alone, I'll listen to music, I'll do my WhatsApp. It's not. We are not made that way. We are made, man is a social animal, remember?
Yes.
But sometimes we are more animal than social. So, personal growth through community. So, why do we need to create connections? Why do we need to create connections and how can we do it consciously? Everything that we are doing in this course is moving from the unconscious to the conscious. Okay? Come. For starters, the biggest mistake that we make in our relationships is that consciously or unconsciously we believe in competition rather than cooperation, which is very, very sad. You need competition, just to give you a little impetus, but you need it as much as salt in food. You don't need a dollop of it. Imagine if instead of putting 1 teaspoon, you put 4 tablespoons, how would your dish taste? Right. So, we are made for cooperation. We are biochemically hardwired for connection. This is one of the greatest astrophysicists living today, called Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if any of you know him. He talks brilliantly. We are all connected to each other, biologically to the earth, chemically to the rest of the universe, atomically to the rest of the universe atomically. We are connected to each other, biologically through the earth, chemically to the rest of the universe automatically, atomically. At the biological level, we are an intricate part of the web of life. Have you any, you know that you are all interconnected. So biologically, we are interconnected. We are connected to the earth chemically, as the atoms and molecules that make up our body are derived from the elements found in the earth's crust, atmosphere and oceans. The water we drink, the air we breathe, and the nutrients we ingest all come from the earth. And our body itself is made up of these chemicals. The atoms that form our body were once part of stars that exploded in supernova. Quite literally, as Carl Sagan, the greatest astrophysicist, beautiful writing says, we are made of stardust. But when we just think of our bodies as limited, just being what we are, why was I created? Why did my parents bring me into the world? We've gone into all of that, right? we're actually cosmic beings. We are actually cosmic beings. Okay? Yeah. Neuroscientists and endocrinologists have discovered that human connection reduces stress hormones. Doesn't it also feel in the blood that we are likely to make rational decisions, of course? So doesn't it feel good connecting with someone? Now, this kind of digital connection is a very poor substitute for physical connection. Just one class when I hurt my toe and I did it on Zoom, and you people said, no, you don't want that. You want me to come here and do it face to face. That's the difference it makes, right? A connection triggers the release of enzymes called telomeres, which heal the damage to the telomeres on the tips of our chromosomes caused by stress. Is that real? Third, it increases the neurotransmitter dopamine, which enhances attention and pleasure. Lastly, here on this slide, increases serotonin, which reduces fear and worry. Isn't it nice to have a friend tell you, yes, you're going through this, but I'm there with you. That's all you want to hear. You know that finally you will have to fight your battles alone. But just knowing that there is somebody who loves you enough to support you is enough. Next. Increases the level of oxytocin and or vasopressin, which makes us more trusting of other people. When you feel very embittered by a relationship, what do you feel? What is a dominant feeling when you feel embittered, when you feel very, very hurt by a relationship? What is the feeling?
Anger.
Sorry?
Anger.
Anger, and then? Hurt, sadness, grief, if it's really deep, and a feeling that I can't really talk about it to anyone. Why? Because it's likely that even my best friend may judge me, my best friend may abandon me. But if you knew that your best friend is going to be with you come what may, wouldn't you cherish that best friend? Yes. And I am extremely fortunate in my life to have 5 such people. People who will tell me, you are wrong, this is rubbish. And that has made me think and redo things and grow. Very honest people. People who not tell me, oh, everything you're doing is perfect, but who help me to grow. So I have complete trust in my relationship with them. Then, let's continue. What psychospirituality says on the positive, and now this is what science has said. So for feeling good, you don't need to have alcohol. I mean, alcohol always puzzles me. People drink because they're very sad. And they drink because they're very happy. And they drink because there's nothing really to do and let's socialize. So it's a social drug. So, I mean, any excuse for drinking. Right? Then, when you start taking drugs or substance, what is the first thing that you believe it's going to do? Make me feel good? You don't realize that it will hook you in the most evil way. So, when you realize that it's only connection that you need. Okay, this person is not proving to be overly sincere. Maybe I'll try somebody else. Instead of saying, oh, I'm not going to risk being vulnerable ever again. No, you will get hurt. Some people will betray you. This is part of life. Perhaps that person is a helper. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So you really don't need to do things. When you are really depressed, you just need one good friend or one person you trust who to you for 10 minutes. And who will work not with what? That person, what kind of support do you need from that person?
Listen. He should listen.
The person should listen, the person should give emotional support, and the person should operate from wisdom and not from received knowledge. इसलिए ऐसा किया तू भी ऐसे कर. That is received knowledge. Right? So you need these three things very importantly from a dear friend. So psycho-spirituality says, as human beings, we yearn to connect and support each other. When you see a child falling on the road or you see somebody is stumbling, isn't it your instinctive gesture to try and help that person? Or are you going to say, oh, see, you got punished for your karmas, bye-bye. That's not you. That's not the real you. By engaging in a community with others who share our beliefs, interests, or experiences, we find ourselves in a safe place. The key word here is safe place for sharing, learning, and growing. Participating in a community can provide validation for one's beliefs and reduce feelings of judgment and exclusion. We already talked about this. By engaging with other members in the community, we can expand our understanding, gain new perspectives, and acquire practical tools for personal growth. Oh, you did that and you could control your anger. Wow. So perhaps even I'm tempted to try it out. Participation in community provides a space for integrating concepts and practices into everyday life. So if you are thinking of doing something for fitness, and there are 5 people who say, let's do yoga together, you're more likely to keep that exercise routine on than sitting and doing it alone. Because that requires extreme grit and extreme self-discipline to do it alone. Because your mind will say, oh, today your back is paining. Today you don't feel like it. Don't do it. Don't push yourself. Don't push yourself. So whatever you do in a community is going to be worthwhile. But all communities will not be good. Even drinking and smoking and substance abuse communities are communities. So as the Dalai Lama very importantly points out, that even when we are talking about change, the change has to be a positive change. Don't just go on mouthing, be the change to see the change, be the change. You know, by the way, where the story comes from, be the change to see the change? These are not his exact words. The exact words of Gandhiji were, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. And why did he say that?
It was a story I know.
Right.
There was a boy who, and he was accompanied by
Tell
his mother.
the class, turn around and tell the class.
There was a boy who used to eat a lot of sugar, and his mother one day took him to Gandhiji, and she said, please advise him something so that he doesn't consume sugar. He said to her that please come after
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
A week or 2. And then when she went back after 2 weeks, he just said the boy, you will not eat sugar, right? It is
He explained to him.
Explained him. And then his mother went up to Gandhiji and she asked him, if you have to tell the same thing, why did you tell him 2 weeks prior? He said, I myself used to consume sugar a lot, so how can I advise someone not to do something when I am not practicing?
You see, that is the genesis of the story. Thank you very much. So, it's very easy to give gyan. Are you doing it yourself? Huh? First, that's why the whole program is indicating that you need to work on yourself before you can be effective teachers.
Yes.
Before you can be better at managing your own life. You get that? So, alright. Participation in community provides a space for integrating concepts and practices. We stopped here. The support and encouragement received from the community members helps us achieve our goal. You are jogging every day. But when you participate in a race and people are cheering you, it's a different feeling altogether, isn't it? Engaging in community can contribute to collective healing and social change. Next. This is a very important book. It's actually a book for management students by Michael Lee Stallard called Connection Cultures. And here, like the scientists, even he says that we are biochemically hardwired for connection. And I already mentioned that solitary confinement is worse than death. Next. Now, just a summary again of what the neuroscientists and endocrinologists are saying. Reduces the stress hormones in the blood and enables us to make rational decisions. It's really important, so we have to just repeat this. Increases dopamine, enhances attention and pleasure, increases serotonin, which reduces fear, and oxytocin and vasopressin, which makes us more trusting of others. Next. Attachment theory of John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth is based on scientific findings. If a child, an infant, cannot bond with someone after birth, an infant cannot bond, that child develops behavioral problems 100% in later life. These are two psychologists, education psychologists, and they talk about it in their book called Attachment Theory. Yes. Children who are bonded well are more courageous when exploring new activities and feel supported at all times. Conversely, those who do not develop strong attachments search for stability, which they are not going to find. Because initially that stability also has to come from within you. And security all their lives. Next. By prioritizing connections, we develop better bonds with students, parents, colleagues, teachers, administration and management, family and friends, and the world. That is how important it is. Next. According to Michael Lee Stallard, now this is important what we are doing. This is a main section where you need to concentrate. As teachers, we begin by identifying the culture of our institution. It could be BTTC for now. Is BTTC promoting a culture of control, a culture of indifference, you couldn't care less, or a culture of connection? Now let's go through each one. Culture of control, where individuals with power and status rule over the rest of the teachers, as a result of which many of the universal needs are not met, and leaving people feeling unsupported, lonely, powerless, micromanaged, hyper-criticized, helpless. Many of you may later on, get into a school of this kind, where whatever the principal says or whatever the management says is what is done in that school. And which is not a bad thing always, but if that institution tends to disrespect teachers and the teacher's intelligence, then I think those are cultures of control. I will not name one big chain of schools based in Mumbai, but with about 140 schools all over India. They operate in this way. They employ young people like you to create lesson plans. And then the lesson plans are given to the teachers of each class. So every textbook lesson has a ready-made lesson plan. The teachers are not supposed to even deviate 1 centimeter from it. So if at that time you want to give your personal experience or do something differently because the class demands that, You are not allowed to, because everything is recorded and observed on CCTV. You see? Totally disrespecting teachers. And I know the tycoon who has brought this into being, and I've had great arguments with him, Dr. Coomi. He says, I want my schools to be like the McDonald's franchisee. The McDonald's hamburger tastes the same. I don't agree with it. But not that I'm a fan of McDonald's, but it doesn't say it tastes the same everywhere. What it tastes in Canada is very different from what it tastes here or in Dubai. Because when you're on the run, you pick up this rubbish. But he says he wants to do that, so it should taste the same. So he wants students everywhere to be taught exactly the same things in the same way, and he gets very good results. So his argument with me is, but Coomi ma'am, what's your problem? I'm getting such amazing results. I said, what are you doing to the students? What are you doing to the teachers? I tried very hard, I did not succeed, then I stepped out. I said, no more. That is it. And a culture of total control. Why is it that a lesson plan that person A made is a lesson plan that everyone from A to Z have to follow? Which means you are saying teachers are not capable of thinking on their own? Look what you people have done in class. When you've been left free to explore your creativity. It's been an amazing thing. But that is, you got the idea? Yes. Next. Culture of indifference. Educators feel unimportant, uncertain, or invisible. No problem, no problem. They feel they are a cog in the machine. In Bihar, next to one of the minister's bungalow, 1 kilometer away from the bungalow, is a classic school. Why do I say classic? Because it's not, unfortunately, not the only one. There is one big blackboard, and there are 5 groups of students sitting, different students, 5 different teachers teaching on the same blackboard at the same time. So one could be teaching chemistry, one could be teaching ABCD, one could be teaching Hindi, one could be teaching geography. And they say that their students only listen to them. Is it even possible? And why is this done? Because we want to say 100% literacy, 75% literacy. Is this called education? In any sense of the term? Is it even possible when there is a single teacher in class, you find that the students feel bored and all of that. So when there are 5 teachers who divided the blackboard and are standing in 5 different places talking at the same time. It's total chaos, it's pandemonium, it's a mockery. It's a total mockery of education. And not that it's not known, there are no rules in that school, nothing. And you call this education, we are educating the poor? What kind of education? What is it? Total indifference, culture of total indifference. We are interested in numbers. So in our logbook, so many students are going to class. English. Okay? And did you get that?
Yes.
Third, very important, culture of connection. A culture of connection is aligned to the gratification of universal human needs, which help develop both relationship excellence and task excellence. 2 things, teachers, you need to remember. That in your class, you are not a textbook interpreter. You are not a textbook interpreter. The word teacher, of course, is very problematic. In Sanskrit, there are 6 different words for teachers. A person who only provides information is an adhyapak. So, do you need to be an adhyapak? Google is a better adhyapak than you, sorry to say. Right? And then there are several others that do you need to be then an Upadhyaya. And Upadhyaya would be providing both knowledge and information. Not really necessary, thank you. So if you are that kind of teacher, what's going to happen to the class? They're not interested in you. Right? Then Acharya. Acharya who's interested in developing skills and competencies. Maybe that person gets a little more attention. Pandit, who is an absolute expert in his or her subject and can give that kind of knowledge. That's why we say Pandit Ravi Shankar, right? The musician or whoever, expert in that area. There's nobody like him. So that's a Pandit. And then it goes on, and finally is a Guru. And who is a Guru? Who can teach you by activating the wisdom within you. So do you realize that nothing that I've said in this course is actually rocket science? It's all things you know. You just need to be reminded of it. So, two things that a teacher needs to focus on is task excellence. Are you able to get the concepts right? And relationship excellence. Okay? So, respect, for instance, these are the universal needs. So, respect is a relational need because you get it from others, right? Recognition is a relational need. Belonging is a relational need. Autonomy, the way you've taken and understood that knowledge and can function with it, is naturally a task mastering need. Personal growth is a task mastering need. And meaning, the constantly meaning-making creatures is an existential need. Very basic to human nature. Something happens. What is the meaning behind it? We try to understand that. Okay? Yeah. This is important now. According to Stallard, each one of us can be one of the three. We can be intentional disconnectors as human beings. We can be unintentional disconnectors, or we can be intentional connectors. Let's look at this. To evolve into a vision-led enabler, which is what we teachers should try to be. Vision-led enablers, not textbook interpreters. To evolve into vision-led enablers, rather than remaining a mere follower, every educator should strive to be an intentional connector. I don't know how this happened. Alright. Obviously, vision inspires and produces values. Then the next is values, voicing their shared thoughts. And you give voice to everyone. If a student is not performing well, it is not your duty only to applaud the ones who are performing well. They're doing great anyway. Your major task is to help students who are not performing well. Therefore, I said today at the beginning of this class, and I mean it, that those who got less than 50, anywhere between 50 and 60%, less than 15 marks out of 25, I am willing to do a study skills section with you, a very quick session with you. And of course, if that is something that the rest of you would also like, I'd be very happy to do that. Alright, now let's get on. So, a person who is an intentional vision-led enabler will work with vision, values, and voice. I'm voicing my opinions. It's okay if you have a different opinion, but let it be a well thought out opinion, not something impulsive. Okay. Yeah, so vision plus voice plus communication lead to this. This is what is there in my book. I'm not promoting my book. Redesigning Education, on which we will do a course from November. You'll be in B.Ed Part 2, and I'll be doing an education course, completely an education course. But life skills is more important, that's why we did it first. I mean, between the Vice Chancellor and myself, we were debating which of the two courses to do first, because some of you might just leave and do other things at the end of BA Part 1. But this is all enshrined. GCA, Global Citizenship, Education, and Inner Developmental Goals can be nurtured with what I call sourceful intelligence, which is, you remember this? Our capacity to understand and experience our uniqueness and our oneness. You remember this?
Yes.
The upper layers of our mind make us aware of our uniqueness, the deeper layers of our oneness. And now you understand the conscious and the personal unconscious, right? And the collective unconscious and deep self. Now this diagram makes complete sense to you. That's why it's repeated here. Yeah. And this transition from self versus other to self and other to all is self. The entire education program from November is going to be based on this, how we do it in the classroom. Next. These are again a very quick reminder of the advantages and disadvantages of each of the stages. Self versus other encourages us to develop our individual intelligence and skills and talents, but it keeps us locked in a competitive state. Self and other encourages cooperation and is still seen as encourages the experience order. You understand these terms now? The underlying order, we are energetically interconnected. The unified field of energy that underlies diversity. Okay? Next. Sourcefully intelligent education is aligned with the trajectory traced by modern science. Self versus other was valorized by Einstein. Do you remember this? This is a quick revision. Do you remember this? Do you want me to elaborate? Yes? Okay. Self versus other was valorized by Einstein, who believed that we are essentially passive observers of a universe already in place. So though he invented and he thought about the unified field theory, he did not go one step ahead. He said, we are here and the universe is there. Next was his colleague at Princeton called John Wheeler. And John Wheeler said that we have a participatory relationship with the cosmos. Which means what? We create our own lives. Very simply put. Now, he's explained this in scientific terms. Energy can become a wave or a particle depending on the consciousness of the observer. You think, it happened to me this morning. I got into a taxi because I had your papers and all to carry from home. So I got into a taxi and the guy there was really very angry. He was shouting obscenities at the other taxi drivers, and that happened at Churchgate Station itself. And by the time we reached here, 3 other incidents took place to irritate him. If you create that kind of reality with your consciousness, more and more will come to that. You remember I taught you the dimensions? So if you are at that level, you are attracting all the rubbish.
Yes.
And more unfortunate things will keep happening to you. People are not to be trusted. You will have more and more people you can't trust in your life. Till you learn your lesson. Yeah, maybe some are to be trusted, and most of them are to be trusted. And then, of course, when you operate from love, you don't need to work on that at all. So, energy manifests as a wave or as a particle depending on the consciousness of the observer. So we are very powerful in creating our reality. But what do we see in Bollywood, Hollywood? Why me? See, Bhagwan. We treat him terribly. We treat God, him, her. There's no him or there's no her, of course. But we treat God terribly. So he said we have a participatory relationship, which is self and other. But David Bohm was the first, and of course now we have numerous, who talked about us being different at the level of the explicit order. So I'm different from the chair, from the camera, from the tripod, from the mic, from you, from me, everything. Energetically we are different. We seem different, but we are actually one at the level of the implicit order. We seem to be different, but we are actually one, because we are part of the unified field of consciousness. Have you got this? Right. These are the three scientists in 2022 who were given the Nobel Prize for Physics for proving particle theory right, and for proving that we are all interconnected and have an intimate relationship. Somebody exactly like you, who thinks like you, who behaves like you, the form may be different, is there somewhere in the galaxy. So they were awarded a prize for it, for particle entanglement, it was called. For experiments with entangled photons, establishing the violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information in science. So these three scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize because it was known to be true, but these people proved it to be true. Okay? Next. This is very beautiful. I'm sorry, this is my favorite book. I couldn't resist quoting from it. The Divine Matrix is our world. It's one of the most brilliant books that you could read. The book is called The Divine Matrix by an astrophysicist called Greg Braden. And he gives a lot of lectures, a lot of videos, and everything is available free on the internet. The Divine Matrix is our world. It is also everything in our world. It is us and all that we love, hate, create, and experience. Living in the Divine Matrix, we are as artists expressing our innermost passions, fears, dreams, and desires through the essence of a mysterious quantum canvas. We are the canvas as well as the images upon it, the canvas. I've often said the dancer and the dance become one. So there is no canvas. Even the canvas is you, the brushes are you. I don't go around talking like this to everyone, you know. I say the canvas is you and the brushes are you. They think that it's one flew over the cuckoo's nest. But this is quantum physics. Hardcore quantum physics. Yeah. So sourceful intelligence can be nurtured through this technique of technopoiesis, which is what I created and which we'll be doing. Just go through this very quickly because I'm not going to get into this during this session. This is fine, we'll be doing this later. These are the 5 steps to technopoiesis, which transition all learners from a self versus other to a self and other to an all is self awareness of oneness. Okay? Just go far. No, leave this because we are going to do this in great detail. We are going to do this in great detail. All of this. Right? Now, what we are going to know, next one. What we are going to nurture, we're going to have a new configuration of multiple intelligences. This new configuration of multiple intelligences values emotional intelligence, which is what the course has been about, cultural intelligence, practical intelligence, moral intelligence, intellectual intelligence, visionary intelligence. So now we are not talking about body kinesthetic or visual spatial or any of those. Though we'll touch upon that when we do the education course. No book or expert advice can make us into an intentional creator, connector. To become one, a deep and reflective in the transformational inner journey is the only way. So who is an intentional disconnector? Someone who likes to create mischief. Someone who likes to make two friends fight. Narad Muni. Intentional disconnector. There may be also unintentional disconnectors. You know what that one said about you? I'm just telling you because I'm your best friend. And you've created a rift. Right? Those are the unintentional disconnectors. But what you need to become is an intentional connector. Got that? Right. The inner journey must be undertaken alone. There are no roadmaps, no manuals, nothing. As educators, when we dive into our own minds, we understand ourselves and discover that children are our mentors almost to the same degree as we are theirs. So I do not call, I think I mentioned this to you earlier, I do not call my lesson plans. We call them learning plans because the teacher is also learning. It's a teaching, learning situation. Okay? So everything exists within the cosmic matrix. The cosmic matrix connects us all. And you can see this YouTube video if you're interested. Next one. Any difficulty at all with this presentation? Now this is the final section. Very, very quick, very easy also to understand. Do you want a very quick break?
Yes.
Up to 3 minutes.
Yes.
3 minutes. Okay. Rush to the washroom if you need to. Thank you. You can take your papers from here in the meantime. All right, one sec. This is arranged according to your numbers, roll call numbers. So this is easy. You can just call out. When are you going to take your picture, your photograph? So for that, I think the creative part shouldn't be given out. It should be here, right?
Yeah, you
Do it today so that then you can take it home and use it for your oral presentation. Yeah. Okay, so today we'll take your photograph with your creative work at the end of the class. writing and something else, you can put it like this and photograph it. So I'm leaving all of that here. And use these in your oral presentation, huh? But 2 minutes only. Please don't overshoot the time. You want the answers? You want the answers? I'll give you the answer to you. The mind map will do towards the end. The first one, the answers to the goddesses. You want the answers to the...
Yes. The last one.
Okay. So Queen Persephone, Demeter. Some of you wrote Persephone, but she cannot be a Persephone because she's not covered by it. She's acting. So she's a Demeter. King Poseidon. Then Magno. I said angry. Aries. Zeus would be able to rein his temper in. And Aries is uncontrolled.
Zeus is powerful.
Powerful, but he can manage his anger. Anger management process is done. Aries, uncontrolled. Then this was very easy because they are literally in order. Artemis, Daisy, Lily, Athena, Lavender, Hestia, Marigold, Hera, Violet, Persephone, Rose, Aphrodite, and Cook with his hand, or Dionysus. I've given both right. That is nurturing, many of you got the cartoons wrong. The cartoon characters wrong. Alright, the first of the two villains, the two wrongs, Athena, she has decided what the children are going to be when they grow up. And ideally speaking, the other one is Hestia, but also Aphrodite Persephone. And Aphrodite is not really concerned, just be quiet. Persephone is, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, and the name, the teacher is a Zeus, and the child is a Hermes, not Hades. Hermes. Athena. First one is Athena, and the second one is ideally speaking, correctly speaking, a Hestia. But I've also given Aphrodite and Persephone. Okay? Got it?
Yeah.
Keep it in the envelope now. don't need any of these anymore. Initially I thought. Alright. Anything you need to know about the first one? What is it? Absent, no? Just give it to them, make sure that they have it. Alright. The very last part. Okay, let's start. Do you want to still go through your papers? No? As usual, most of you have done very well in the memory part.
Yeah.
But the inferential part, you've not done too well. As I said, before I end today, I'll do mind mapping and meditation. These two things, and then I'll feel contented that I've done the course. So deepening inner work through non-egoic service. What do you think this title means? What do you think this title means? Deepening inner work, all this work that we've done, yes.
I think that to work on ourselves, not to show okay, we are a good person, we are a better person, but to be happy or content with ourselves, for ourselves.
Yeah, but what is non-egoic service? Any idea? It's a very self-explanatory name. Thank you, Siddhant. It's a very self. Are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think it means working towards a goal without the selfish aim.
There we go. Yeah. Now, normally, it's human nature that when we want to do something good, we want to be acknowledged. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. Those who give a lot of money in philanthropy will want a statue, will want their name. Right? That's human nature. And then what happens is that your service comes from an agenda. I want to be known. But here, if you change the stream, I don't want to be known by anyone, I just want to do it because it seems the right thing to me. That's it. If I get recognition, okay. If I don't get recognition, okay. That's all right. Either way is okay. My great-grandfather, I think I mentioned this to you, he was an international scholar with a PhD from Columbia University in 1909 and the author of 35 books. And in his autobiography, which he wrote, he said, if I don't get elated by praise, I don't get dejected by blame. And that has been my mantra all my life. I have given my 100% to this cause at this moment in time. Maybe if I read something else, if I experience something else, it will change. And of course it has to change. I'm not telling them to freeze this course. I will have to revise the manuals, I'll have to give something else. Because the only certainty in life is change. So I have done my 100%, or if you are somebody as stupid as me at mathematics, my 200% of giving this course. What you think of it, what you say behind my back, or to my face, is not my concern. What did we start with? This course is like a day at the beach. You can sit and you can observe it and say, oh, nice, interesting. I've done my exam, I've got my marks, forget about it. You can go deeper into it. You can go and paddle in the water. You can go for fish, or you can dive for birds. Your takeaway from the course is your business, not mine. Because I have spoken and taught from a center of truth. If you have not been able to receive it, there is no blame. You are where you are at this moment in time. Maybe if you don't sell the manuals to the Chanawala at the end of BA and you pick it up 20 years later, it might make no sense. 40 years later, it might make even more sense. Who knows? But there is no age limit on this kind of knowledge, on wisdom. So, entirely up to you. So this, from my part, this has been non-egoic. If it was from an egoic position, I would be thinking of what is the recognition am I going to get? Is the college going to call the media in? You know, all of that. If I do this course for the corporates, I could get at least 1 lakh for 2 days per person. And I'm not joking. You're willing to pay. But I don't like working with corporates. I don't like working with people who already kind of crystallize their thinking, because I feel that when you work with younger people, there is hope. So I don't want to align myself. A lot of people say that because I do all my work in the villages entirely free, I need to get some money naturally, because people are there with me doing this program. But we're trying to think of some other means. We don't have too much of a head for business anyway, because we don't see this as business, you know. We see this as giving, but it can't be just that. You can't talk about philosophy on an empty stomach, as George Bernard Shaw said. But from my side and from the side of people who are working with me, you know, Dr. Firoza Godrej is so difficult to get. And the first time I went and put my ideas across, she said, I'm with you from this second. On the day when she came to release my book, she had a family engagement the previous night in Pune, and they were celebrating 94 years of an aunt. She got away from there at 1 in the morning. I didn't know this. She arrived in Bombay at 4:30 in the morning, and at 9:30 she was here to release my book. That is the level of commitment or trust that people show. And not because she's Firoza Godrej, but because she's a very sharp thinking human being. And I really felt deeply honored and humbled by her presence on that day. So it happens that some people will praise me, but it's also happened that some people say, oh, she's so idealistic. She teaches in a way where she's only concerned about being popular with the students. That's okay. Their perception, I can't change it. But if I'm only glad or thankful to Firoza Godrej and people like her who support me in a big way. Ratan Tata has supported me in a very big way. When I first started my work, he sent me to the principals of all his Tata schools in Tata Nagar. And I did a lot of work, I got a lot of encouragement, recognition, So because they are biggies, but they're people who are thinkers. But if I'm not elated by their support, and I say, thank you, then I'm not dejected by people who criticize me. Fortunately for me, there are very, very, very few who criticize. Very few. So I think I've been very lucky. But when I started out my career, it was not like that. When I started out my career as the youngest professor in the university, I mean, what does she come with? All these strange ideas of teaching. She just wants the bachus to be happy. Because I was just trying out and experimenting and doing things because I was a bored learner myself. It's okay. So anything you do, ask yourself first, what is my motive in doing? You think by making socially useful and productive work compulsory, the government is achieving anything? No. No. I know of where my son's school, and they were told, oh, you are supposed to do socially useful and productive work, but you concentrate on the major subjects because that's where the marks are. Just give 50 rupees each and we'll buy glucose packets for the children. What's the agenda there? Just to tick mark that you've done that work. Think for a moment even before we start this. Some of you may be giving money to beggars. Some of you may not be giving money to beggars. That's okay. Whichever way you choose. When somebody may have a genuine need. I choose to give, knowing that sometimes probably this money is going to go and be spent on drinks. But who am I? Do I know their lives? Do I know their frustration? Do I know why they're addicted? Do I know how they are being treated that they're doing this? So if I don't judge, then I just give. Now when I give, I don't say, hey God, are you checking me out? Today I gave not 2 rupees, 10 rupees. Check it out. Agenda. If you give because you are hoping that God will give you blessings or somebody else will see how generous you are, it's a wrong reason for giving. It's a wrong reason for giving. Sometimes I'm foolish. I'd even put a 500 rupees note in somebody's hand. And that lady has said, I don't have change. And the others have known what I put in her hand. And I feel embarrassed to say, no, it's just for you. If I can, if I have it, I give it. If I don't have it, I can't give it. That's it. But I keep checking on myself. I keep checking on myself. What is my motive for doing this kind of work? What is my motive of doing work in the villages? To write in my CV with techno-courses and all of that? Or do I genuinely want poor children to benefit from quality education? This is my humble contribution. Very humble. How many will I reach out to? Unless I make clones of myself. If all of you want to become teacher trainers and I make you teacher trainers and techno-courses, then I can reach out to thousands. I have been offered vice chancellorship by a religious outfit. And I've said no, because I don't want to be aligned with any religion or any politician. Dilip Kesakar, Mumbai, education minister said, your teaching methodology is so powerful, I want it to all over Maharashtra, every village, then we'll take it to the level of India. But I don't have people. I would love to do that. I would love to train. But I don't have people who are willing to become trainers. Because at this point in time, I can't promise them any money. I can't say this could be your career. So, when it happens, I'm open to it. Yes, Vevaina.
Ma'am, so
Why don't you sit? Sit and talk.
So talking about the people that you were just talking about. So it's a very personal experience. So when I was in America in boarding school in 2015, it was 25th of, I think it was 31st December, and on Times Square, as usual, there were these lines of homeless people
Absolutely.
who were just sitting there and drinking and doing whatever. What I did was, I had a plan with my friends to go out with them. And I was only 14 years. So I was like, should I go out with them or should I help out these people? So I took a wise decision to help out these homeless people. And I gave them, it was so cold, right? So I actually bought blankets from Walmart and blankets, and I got some food for them. And I cooked to them like snacks and all. And they just smiled and said thank you. And I was like, Merry Christmas.
The world is full of suffering. There is no end to which you can help. Should I help them? Should I not? Will they use it? What will they do? When you get your salary, Does anyone ask you what you're going to do with your money? You could be spending it on drugs for all you know. Why does the institution pay you? No, tell me how you're going to spend it. If you're going to spend it well, and only then will we give you. I will say like Divania, just give if you can. Just give if you can. You never know the reality. You never know, but sometimes I'm in a fix because when you read sometimes that little children are actually bought for the day and they need to do this begging. Their arms and legs are maimed in order to evoke our pity. How shameful is this? Do we have to get them maimed before we can give money or before we can give help? I know because I've come across so many people who've been so angry with me and they are with me and they see me giving anybody. Why are you encouraging beggars? Why are you doing this? So I don't have a why. I just don't have a why. I just don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. That's it. Entirely up to you. What kind of service you want to do, you decide, but it has to be some service in order to complete this journey of personal growth. Okay? I mean, anyone who feels against it is welcome to also speak up. Because I'm not saying I'm not right. I'm saying I don't know. I may be entirely wrong. I may be giving somebody who doesn't deserve to be given. But I don't judge. I don't know. Okay. So deepening inner work through non-egoic service. Let's see this. What we need to now do is we have come to the stage when we are ready to transition from an egocentric intimacy, me and my alone. How much money do I have? How many clothes do I have? How much gold do I have? How much jewelry do I have? How much can you wear? How much can you wear? Can you wear your pearls and diamond and ruby and all at one go? You'll probably be mugged. Right? So, now is the time to move from an egocentric intimacy to, and second stage is nation-centric. And I haven't put tribal or ethnocentric here. But it's also possible to move to an ethnocentric identity, where you say me and my people alone, my Jatwalas, people who speak my language, etc. Nation-centric identity, we Indians, if they are humans. Geocentric identity, where you extend that intimacy to not human beings alone, but to all living beings. That's why I keep saying we should stop thinking in terms of human rights and start thinking in terms of living rights. They grab your things, they go, hey, banda. It is their land which we have appropriated. We have dispossessed them. They are eating rubbish because of it. The things we throw away. They're getting ill because of that. See what we've done to our waters. How much of plastic has been ingested by sea creatures. How much of rubbish we throw, load of garbage in your home. How do you take it? Will you say, oh, I've been taught not to lose my temper and manage my anger, so bring it in? No way. You're not going to do that. So that is a centric intimacy to a cosmocentric intimacy. Going even beyond that to the unknown, to life in whatever form, wherever it is. So this is called conscious evolution. This is a term which was first powered by a thinker called Barbara Marx Hubbard, conscious evolution, where consciously you expand your identity. Got this? Is this clear?
Yes.
Right, next. Also, we must understand that this conscious evolution is extremely important, because today we human beings have only a choice between two alternatives. Conscious evolution, the whole course is conscious evolution or unconscious destruction. If we continue behaving the way we are behaving now, we will destroy the planet. And nature preserves. What does nature preserve? Does it preserve a species? No. Nature is concerned with growth and evolution. That's the evolutionary concept, not with the species. If the dinosaurs could not adjust, they become extinct. This planet has seen 5 mass extinctions. 5 mass extinctions. And if we continue to disregard climate change, if we continue to disregard hunger, poverty, and all the major issues, it could well be the 6th extinction. And this is not pessimism, this is evolutionary science. So, to prevent that, the United Nations in 2015 came up with what is called now the SDGs, the Sustainable Goal of Development. And it has 5 verticals. We'll be doing that when we do the other course, so I won't dwell on it in great detail. The first is planet. Obviously, we can't talk about changing the education system and everything else if there are no human beings left. Because nature will not preserve a species. If the species is stupid, the species has to be wiped out. It will preserve purpose, and the purpose is evolution. So we have to all consciously work for the planet in one way or the other. Planet, people. We talk about inclusivity, but we pay lip service to the concept. I want my cake, and I want to keep it. Inclusivity would be understanding how much unnecessary pain and harm is caused by racism, sexism, classism, ageism, ableism. All these isms which create what Rabindranath Tagore called narrow domestic walls separating us, and which are illusory because we are energetically interconnected. The third is partnerships. You cannot anymore function in isolation. So developing connection cultures and partnerships is going to be our future. Collaboration, therefore, must be taught as part of education. Very, very importantly, peace. My next Global Tipping Point Summit, which is an international summit, is going to be hosted by the HSNC University, and the summit is on peace. And you would say, peace? What peace? It sounds so soft and namby-pamby. What is the subtitle of my summit? Inner peace for outer peace for global peace. And with you guys, I've taken the first step, inner peace. For outer peace, for global peace. So it's going to be a major international seminar, and I like to do all my work through the arts. So in October 2023, I did the first vertical planet. And we did not have boring talks on that much and statistics and all, we had artists come and perform. We had a Kathak dancer doing how can you teach about the planet through dance. It's all on my website. You can see it. It's all available free. And we had painters. I like to work with the arts. When you work with the arts, you're sure you're going to appeal to every single learner. Because one or more of the arts is interesting to every learner. So for 3 days, we had a blast. And we invited students from schools, but it was exam time, so only 10 students, high school students. And they became very friendly with me over the 3 days. So at the end of it, they said, "Man, we honestly thought you were going to pow us." Our children, young people are honest enough, that's why I like them. We thought you were going to pow us, but we enjoyed every minute of it. We tried to be like that initially and said, not interested. We just couldn't do that. Because we had a puppeteer, we had India's best puppeteer. Everyone has worked for me free of cost. Silas Brocha takes 5 lakhs for appearing for half an hour. He spent the whole morning with us and he did stand-up comedy and how it could be used and whatever. The Kathak dancer charges 2.5 lakhs. Nobody took a naya paisa from me because they believed in the cause. And because they believed in my sincerity in promoting these ideas through dance. So even peace, we will have some peace activists doing one round table. But after that, we get into all the dance, drama, music. The person who came from Goa was a young boy, and not so young actually, 32, but he did an amazing job of painting and how all his activism in Goa for the planet is done through painting. And he's got a huge movement there, and they're all prepared to come back. A person from Bangalore, and he talked about how on a shoestring budget, he fulfilled his passion of making the documentary he showed us, and now of course he's very well known. Everyone came in free, everyone. We didn't speak of money because they believed in the cause. So I'm hoping that even this time I'm able to bring some wonderful people to the 3-day program on peace, which I'm going to your Vice Chancellor to decide on the dates, but most likely it will be in October, early October. So please join it. The next is prosperity. Earlier, we were talking in terms of profit. And because companies and people were thinking in terms of profit, they were not thinking of prosperity for all. How many of you here know the Ubuntu concept? Ubuntu? It's a brilliant little African concept where the children are made to believe that if one person wins, all will win. So how do we create a win-win situation? How do you do business in an ethical way? And you've heard of Bittu Saigal? Bittu Saigal, one of the leading environmentalists in India, he was my keynote speaker, and he has thrown open his library to anyone who is interested in his work. He has been with me on every GTPS international summit that I've done. Again, completely free. Everything is free. So, this is an important quote to start with. You will say, I'm small fry, how can I change the world? But I cannot do everything, but I can still do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. So you need to find out, what is your strength? What are you good at? How can you help the world with the gift that you've been given? There isn't a single human being who's born without a gift. You'll say, what about the differently able children? That they give to their families is the family learns to love. Not love because you can get all the gold cups and the great marks and you can be in one of the, but learning to love unconditionally is the entire family. So every single one has a gift. What are you good at? You have to be good at one thing at least. Now how can I use that one thing to serve the world? In my own case, I have just used my facility with words and creativity to serve the world. But of course, you can't just do that. You have to think of your bread and butter also. Which is not to say that 24 hours of the day, even if you don't have money, you devote yourself to that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying do what you have to do, but also keep some time for meaningful, non-egoic work based on your individual talents. Got it? Is there anyone here who feels I don't have a single good thing to give the world? Anyone here? I don't have a single good thing to give the world? You may be good at singing. You may be good at guitar. You may be good at dancing. How can I promote these ideas through something I'm good at? Just in a small way. In a small way. The person who came to me, the Kathak dancer who came to me, is a medical person with a PhD in medical sciences. He worked in the corporate. He made his money there. He got disillusioned. He made his money then as an interior decorator because that allowed him more creativity in like that era. Then he went back to his childhood passion. What were you passionate about up to the age of 8? Think of that. That is most likely going to be your strength. Okay? So this is a very important quote from a writer, Edward Everett Halley. Next. Determining our life purpose and our contribution. Many of you know this, Ikigai?
Yes.
Right. Very useful. Extremely useful. It's all interrelated. If you really do what you're good at, your passion and your profession you choose according to that, then what you can be paid, that's the way society functions. So, what are you going to be paid for your vocation? How does it intersect? World needs. Then you decide mission and what you love. Your mission will combine to make your life joyful. Very interesting. Work with this Ikigai circle and find out what do I really want to do and talk about it at the orals. What do I really want to do? Not just because it's an oral presentation and I have to do and finish it up. Because you'll be given marks, the passion and enthusiasm. It doesn't mean you just go all over the place and just go on doing that. I'm not saying that. Eat. Find out. You have time before the 16th. Okay? And of course, all of this is there in Amplified Living. Much more is there. I'm also giving the Wheel of Co-Creation of Barbara Marx Hubbard, which is slightly more complicated than Ikigai. That's why I haven't put it here as part of the course with you. Ikigai is good enough. That's it. The only thing you have to do now at the end of the program is emptying our cup and living with a beginner's mind. What do I mean by this? Emptying our cup? Yeah, and your self-concept. And inventing yourself anew. Isn't it? excited? No, everyone's looking like that. Isn't it exciting, or am I the only one to get excited by it? Empty your cup. Get up each morning saying, I'm ready for whatever comes my way. I'm really ready. It may not be good. On certain days it may not be good, but I'm still ready for whatever comes my way. So instead of having a very crystallized personality, where you say, I am, two most powerful words in the English language, in human language, are the words I am. Whatever you put after that, you become. I am stupid, sure enough. I am intelligent, and you know, things will come your way to facilitate that. So these are the two most important words in the English language. Whatever you put about it after that, be very careful. Be still and know the truth, and thank you. You've been an amazing class. Thank you very much. All right. As I promised, I'll do mind mapping with you very quickly. Yeah, I think you can stop that. Unless you want to record the meditation.
Leave it on.
Leave it on. Do the meditation first. Come. So, I have not been able to delve into the importance of meditation in our lives, but I've touched upon it, as I've touched upon most of the things in this course. But I do hope whatever interests you, you go deeper into that. Okay? So now I just want to lead you into a very beautiful meditation where you open up the petals of your heart. Imagine your heart as a flower with petals all closed. And open up the petals and just listen to the few words that I have to say. I'll make it very quick. As such, it's a 20-minute meditation. I'm going to make it very, very quick because I know I have to do mind mapping after this. Okay? Again, I repeat, no religion, completely non-sectarian. It is only for your inner growth. That's all. Personal growth. That's it. So take a few deep breaths and close your eyes. Feel your body experiencing comfort. Alright? Sit very comfortably every time you take a deep breath. Let your belly move out. And every time you breathe out, let your belly drop in. Do this for just 5 times. Visualize thick golden roots growing from the soles of your feet, going deep into Mother Earth and entwining around a beautiful rose quartz crystal at the center of the earth. Mother Earth completely grounds you in her love. Feel that love energy entering the soles of your feet, going up your spine, and all the way into the cosmos, and bringing down the pure white light of the divine. Feel the earth energies and the sky energies merging in your heart. Know that you are totally and completely protected, and only love and light can enter your aura. And now you can invoke any ascended master, any being of light that you believe in. Now visualize a beautiful white rose in your heart space. The white rose has its petals closed. Very, very gently, with the power of your imagination, open the petals, taking the name of all those you need to give forgiveness to. Gently open petal 1, the person you feel has been most troublesome. Wish well for that person. The second petal. Now I'm going to remain silent for the next 30 seconds. I'll keep opening those petals and naming anyone and everyone who seem to have hurt you, or towards whom you hold unforgiveness. Very gently see the beautiful energy, the white light from the center of your heart moving out towards all human beings on planet Earth. All. Now let that energy move out from you and bless all the animals, reptiles, and living beings on Earth. Now, to all the birds in the sky, on the trees, big and small, everywhere. and to the fish and mammals and all the aquatic creatures. Tell Mother Earth that you are willing to help her clean the air, waters, earth, and all that is unwanted gets burnt up in fire and transmuted to the light. See yourself as hugging Mother Earth close to your heart. And blessing the planet, the only place we can call home. He prayeth well who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. He prayeth well who loveth well, all things great and small. The dear Lord who made us, He made and loveth all. When you feel angry, upset, immediately get into the state of expanded consciousness and experience the beauty of this little blue marble called Earth. Very gradually come back to the room. You may rub your palms together if you like, cup them over your eye, and whenever you feel ready, you may open your eyes. One of the things that we just need to remember at all times is gratitude. Gratitude can do so much. With our negativity bias, we keep focusing on what we don't have. But if we sit to count our blessings, there is so much more that we have. Okay? Did you feel that you could calm down in these 10 minutes?
Yes.
And it did help? Okay? So now we just conclude after a few words of mind mapping. When you are doing mind mapping, you must understand that no geometric shapes can be used. No circles, no triangles, no squares, those cannot be used. No geometry, but some did that. Also, each branch will have a different color. What is the purpose of a mind map? To help you remember. Your mind will remember the colors. It takes a photograph, as it were, of the colors, and it remembers. So if you want to make a mind map effective, the lines should not be straight, the way they are in your brain, curvy-wurvy. So draw those kind of lines as tree branches. Once a certain branch is, say, of color brown, then the extensions will be of brown. So that's one thought. So if I was doing it for my literature students, okay, let me do the inner child itself,
Yes.
because that is what proved to be troublesome. So, the inner, okay? Now, we talked about certain sub-personalities in groups, and some are not in groups. So, I would person color, okay? What are these? Yeah, the branches. So this would be my pleaser, and then I will draw an image of the pleaser in my mind in the same color. Then of the rebel, an image. About 2 over here. Is that fine? Now I use a different color. This is not to make your mind not look colorful. It's the way your mind will remember it. The second one could be, that comes a little later if you go in order. The driver and the lazy layabout is one word. Lazy layabout, the one who lies around. So that is one, and then again a picture of the two. Got it? Now, the third one in yellow. Victim, rescuer, and then an image. Okay? Right? The rest are not in pairs. So, you would have one for, I'm doing purple here. I would do one for the rationalizer. I'm doing an orange for the manipulator. Again a picture. And finally, one to remember a mind map. Have you got it? It's not just anything you like. There is a certain reason for doing it this way. Now have you understood?
Yes.
Any other problems? No, right? Okay. So thank you, students. You've been honestly amazing, and I've enjoyed this whole process of being with you. Any difficulties, anything you want clarified?